Nearly 3 years into Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky has unveiled a bold victory plan that aims to not only end the war, but reshape Ukraine's position on the global stage. From demands for NATO membership to a push for more advanced weaponry, this plan has drawn both support and skepticism worldwide. But there's more to the story. The US continues to play a critical role in Ukraine's defense, supplying advanced weapons to counter Russian aggression. But all that might change when Trump takes over as the President of the United States of America. But buried in history is the Budapest Memorandum, which raises questions about Ukraine's territorial integrity and the promises made to safeguard it. We'll talk about that in this episode. Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with Nikita Mohan. At the heart of Zelensky's victory plan is the long-standing goal of Ukraine joining NATO, a move that would provide collective security under Article 5 of the NATO Charter. Zelensky has argued that NATO membership is the only way to guarantee Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity in the face of ongoing threats from Russia. This aspiration is not new. Ukraine's desire to join NATO dates back to the early 2000s, with efforts intensifying after Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014. However, NATO membership remains a contentious issue. Some member states, including Hungary, Turkey, have expressed reservations, citing concerns about provoking Russia and the complexities of integrating a country actively engaged in war.
Не може бути запрошення НАТО частини території України. Це автоматичне визнання, що всі інші території не тільки в небезпеці, а всі інші території не українські. Тому Україна ніколи на це не піде. Якщо це запрошення, то тільки повністю всіх територій. Є ті самі скептичні країни, і Сполучені Штати на сьогодні входять в список цього, на жаль, скепсису. Я не знаю, чи буде президент Байден, діючий президент Сполучених Штатів, рекомендувати це, але я знаю бачення, в принципі, наскільки мені відомо, держсекретаря Блінкена, він більш позитивний. Але ще є німецька сторона, є ще угорська сторона, і тому тільки консолідований сигнал може бути позитивно сприйнятий всіма лідерами.
There is also a criteria to become NATO member, and Ukraine certainly does not fit that bill. Why? Because to become a NATO member, you should have stability in your country. With the war and the conflicts in the past, Ukraine never was a stable nation. It also requires the country to be corruption-free, have certain standards in governance, and Ukraine never could live up to those standards. Having said that, for Ukraine this has been an uphill task, and it never seemed like Zelensky understood that there is going to be no NATO membership for the country should there be instability in the country and the region. Beyond NATO membership, Zelensky's victory plan emphasizes the need to strengthen Ukraine's military capabilities. The Ukrainian president has called for advanced weaponry, including long-range missiles, to enable Ukraine to strike Russian targets far behind enemy lines. This demand underscores the critical role of military aid in Ukraine's resistance.
Ми не торгуємо суверенітетом, безпекою чи майбутнім України. Ми не відмовимось від прав України на всю свою територію. І ми точно не дозволимо нікому використати нашу державу в чиїхось передвиборчих баталіях в Європі. За рахунок України виграти не вийде. Разом з Україною виграти можна. І тільки так.
Ukraine is entering another crucial winter. And Russia's aggression shows no sign of abating. Just the opposite. Putin is ramping up his rhetoric and reckless actions. He is using Ukraine as a testing ground for experimental missiles and is deploying North Korean soldiers in this illegal war. But we will all need to do more, especially now. The stronger our military support to Ukraine is now, the stronger their hand will be at the negotiating table. And the sooner we can end Russian aggression once and for all in Ukraine.
The United States of America in particular has been a key ally, providing billions of dollars in weapons and equipment. Recent aid packages have included cutting-edge systems such as Patriot air defense systems, HIMARS rocket launchers, and F-16 fighter jets. These weapons have significantly bolstered Ukraine's ability to defend itself and launch counteroffensives, demonstrating the importance of international support in this conflict. The importance of American military aid cannot be overstated. Since the beginning of the invasion, Biden administration has committed over $43 billion in military assistance to Ukraine, making it the single largest contributor to Ukraine's defense. The aid has not only provided Ukraine with the tools to resist Russian advances, but also sent a strong message of solidarity to the international community. The inclusion of long-range attack missiles and cluster munitions in recent aid packages represents a strength escalation in the quality and scope of US support. How long will it last is the question. These weapons allow Ukraine to target critical Russian infrastructure and supply lines, potentially shifting the dynamics of the war. However, this level of support is not without controversy. Critics argue that the provision of advanced weapons to Ukraine risks escalating the conflict and provoking Russia into more aggressive actions. There are also concerns about the long-term sustainability of this aid, particularly as some US lawmakers and citizens question the financial and strategic costs of supporting Ukraine. Despite these challenges, Biden administration has maintained that aiding Ukraine is not only a moral imperative but also a strategic necessity to uphold the principles of sovereignty and international law. Moreover, President-elect Trump has repeatedly pledged during his election campaign to end the nearly 3-year-old conflict within 24 hours of his January 20th inauguration, if not before then, but has yet to say how. Analysts and former national security officials voice grave doubts about Trump and whether he can fulfill such a pledge because of the conflict's complexity. Taken together, however, his advisors' statements suggest the potential contours of a Trump peace plan.
We are open and we are ready to cooperate. But of course, we will be cooperating on the basis of our national interests. This is, I would say, it's the main point. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. I don't know. Trump promised to settle down the Ukrainian crisis overnight. Okay, let him try. But we know that we are realistic people. Of course, we understand that this will never happen. But if he starts or suggests something to start the political process, it's welcomed, of course.
Стійкість цієї України нам потрібна. У вирішальні моменти, а вони будуть у наступному року, ми маємо не допустити, щоб хтось у світі засумнівався у стійкості всієї нашої держави. І на цьому етапі війни вирішується, хто дотисне. Або ми ворога, або ворог нас, українців.
On the other hand, the victory plan also includes a critical component focused on establishing a robust deterrent to prevent future aggression. While Ukraine remains committed to its non-nuclear status, discussions have emerged about creating a strategic deterrent that could include advanced conventional weapons and integrated defense systems. This aspect of the plan ties into the historical context of the Budapest Memorandum, a 1994 agreement that has become a contentious topic in the current conflict. The Budapest Memorandum was signed after Ukraine inherited a significant nuclear arsenal following the collapse of the Soviet Union. Under this agreement, Ukraine agreed to relinquish its nuclear weapons in exchange for security assurances from Russia, the United States of America, and the United Kingdom. These assurances included respect for Ukraine's sovereignty, and borders, as well as promises to refrain from the use or threat of force. While debates continue over provocations on the trigger for this current conflict, Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014 and its full-scale invasion in 2022 have indeed violated assurances of the Budapest Memorandum, leading many to question the effectiveness of such agreements.
This document or this paper failed to secure Ukrainian security and transatlantic security. So we must avoid to repeat such mistakes. That's why, of course, we will discuss with my partners the concept of peace through strength. And we have clear understanding which steps we need from our friends to do our home job.
For Ukraine, the memorandum serves as a painful reminder of the consequences of relying on international promises without enforceable guarantees. In addition to military and security objectives, Zelensky's victory plan outlines a vision for Ukraine's post-war recovery and reconstruction. The plan emphasizes the need to rebuild Ukraine's economy, infrastructure, and institutions, turning the country into a model of resilience and innovation. This effort will require significant international investment and cooperation, particularly from the European Union and the United States of America. Ukraine's role in European energy security, particularly as a transit hub for natural gas, is likely to play a key factor in these reconstruction efforts. By positioning itself as a vital player in Europe's economic and security framework, Ukraine aims to secure its future as a stable and prosperous nation. The international response to the victory plan has been mixed. NATO Secretary General and other Western leaders have praised Ukraine's determination and resilience, but have also acknowledged the challenges of implementing the plan. It certainly seems like the change in administration in the United States of America now has something to do with it.
As we're working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assistance for Ukraine. That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. And President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
Und drittens, wir übernehmen Verantwortung mit dem NATO-Stab in Wiesbaden, Verantwortung bei der Unterstützung für die Ukraine. Auch finanziell. Wir tragen weitere 63,5 Millionen Euro für den NATO-Ukraine-Fonds bei und geben bilateral weitere 30 Millionen Euro für humanitäre Hilfe. Deswegen ist es so wichtig, und das haben wir immer wieder deutlich gemacht, wenn wir über Frieden reden, es muss ein gerechter Frieden sein. Es darf kein Einfrieren eines Konfliktes sein, der nur zu einer weiteren Aufrüstung und nur zu weiteren Angriffen auf die Ukraine oder gar anderer europäischer Länder führt. Und daher ist es so essentiell, dass wir die unterschiedlichen Elemente zusammenbringen. Aber nochmal unterstrichen, die Ukraine allein entscheidet, weil es ihr Land ist, ihr souveränes Land, über dieses Zusammenbringen von Elementen. Und nochmal, derjenige, der dem Frieden seit mehr als 1000 Tagen im Weg steht, ist der russische Präsident, der ohne Grund den völkerrechtswidrigen Angriffskrieg begonnen hat.
NATO membership in particular remains a divisive issue, with some member states hesitant to commit to Ukraine's full integration while the war continues. The US has expressed support for the plan's objectives, but has also emphasized the need for a balanced approach that avoids escalating tensions with Russia. Meanwhile, Russia has dismissed the plan as unrealistic and provocative, accusing Ukraine of undermining the prospects for peace. One of the most contentious aspects of the plan is Ukraine's request for long-range weapons. These weapons, such as attack missiles, have the potential to target critical Russian infrastructure deep within its territory. Those who advocate this argue that these strikes are necessary to disrupt Russian supply lines and command centers, thereby weakening its military capabilities. However, critics warn that such actions could provoke Russia into retaliating more aggressively, potentially against NATO supply routes or other strategic targets. The debate over long-range weapons highlights the delicate balance between supporting Ukraine's defense and managing the risks of escalation. The classified annexes of the victory plan add an element of intrigue and speculation. While their contents remain undisclosed, analysts believe they include detailed military strategies, cybersecurity initiatives, and contingency plans for various scenarios. These annexes may also address potential threats involving tactical nuclear weapons, cyber attacks, or disruptions to critical infrastructure. However, their secrecy has raised concerns about the transparency and accountability, particularly among Ukraine's international partners. Is this a last-ditch effort by Zelensky and by Washington, D.C. before Trump takes over? Despite all the challenges, Zelensky's victory plan indeed stands as a testament to Ukraine's, or President Zelensky's, to be precise, resilience and determination. It does reflect an unwavering commitment to reclaiming its territory and securing Ukraine's future. At the same time, it highlights the complexities of modern geopolitics, where historical agreements like the Budapest Memorandum and current alliances with nations like the US intersect to shape the course of events. As the war continues, the success of this victory plan will depend on several factors. Sustained international support, effective military strategies, and successful post-war reconstruction efforts will also be very critical. Ukraine's ability or capability to navigate these challenges would not only determine its future, but also have far-reaching implications for global security and the international order. For now, the world watches as Ukraine continues its fight, Washington, D.C. desperately trying to come to Ukraine's rescue. The Trump administration that will take over on the 20th of January has made its own intent quite clear when it comes to the Ukraine-Russia war. Is there going to be a peace plan beyond a victory plan? Is there going to be peace beyond the conflicts and war that we are witnessing right now? And will Budapest Memorandum be honored in the manner in which it should be, keeping Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity in mind, but also ensuring that Russia is not provoked? All these questions remain to be answered. Thank you for watching Statecraft. Goodbye and take care.